Guys, see this? This is my house right here. Check it out. Who owns this? I don't own it. Shell Point Mortgage owns this house. I'm just paying interest and getting a little tiny $500 equity a month. This is the most stupid investment I've ever made in my entire fucking life.
We need a 5,000 square foot home with at least 6 bedrooms. Our budget is $200,000, no exceptions.
All right, let me just check the inventory real quick.
If you can't find it, we'll get an agent who can.
Certainly wouldn't want that. Damn, they've all sold.
What? When?
In 1983, Cheryl. They sold in 1983. Have a nice life.
What just happened?
I have no idea what just happened. I've been in real estate 28 years, and I've never seen insanity like this in trying to lease or purchase a house, ever. This is absurd.
Hello guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be talking about homebuyer rumors, when the dream home feels like a nightmare. Many buyers regret rushing into a home purchase, unexpected repairs, high mortgages, and hidden cost and stress. What seems perfect at the first can quickly feel overwhelming. Owning a home should bring joy, not constant worry. Without further ado guys, let's jump into the videos and watch.
That's why no one's freaking buying any houses right now, because it is so unimpressive. We are talking about a $500,000 fixer-upper. What? My husband and I went house shopping yesterday. Our budget is $500,000. We looked at 6 houses, and 5 of them were fixer-uppers. Nasty. Talking like exposed nails hanging out of the floorboards. Like the kitchen hasn't been touched since 1982. And the only one that was kind of nice was in the literal hood. Oh, and besides that, it was actually only 2 bedrooms, even though it was advertised as 3 bedrooms. So there's that. And the house right next to it was a literal dump site. Yeah, so this one with the pool was the one that we were looking at. And the house, that was the next door neighbor's house.
Yeah, this is what is happening, you know, guys. But you know, she done research with her husband and at least check the houses, you know. So always do your research. And guys, thank you for your like, share, subscriptions. Are really important for me. It's help my channel grow. Please let me know what do you think in the comments below. Okay guys, and let's dive into the next video and watch.
Imagine you paid $900,000 for a brand new property. 3 years later, it's only worth $850,000. Want to know what went wrong? Well, let's talk about house and land packages. They look shiny, new, safe, low risk. You're told you're buying into the new growth corridor, the next big thing. But most of these packages, they're built on like the very outskirts of the city where there is so much land available. Developers, they love these areas. They can buy land, cut them up, and sell the dream. No problem with that. But here's what most investors don't realize. There is so much land available, and when you have so much land, so much supply, capital growth is going to be compromised. I mean, zoom out on the map when you look at one of these properties, and you'll see it. You're not in like a suburb, you're in like stage 3 of 15. For example, the west of Melbourne, Melton, Werribee, Tarneet. We've seen it before and we're still seeing it now. The government releases more land, developers move in, you get rows and rows of identical homes. And that brand new property you bought, 12 months later, there are hundreds and hundreds of others that look almost exactly like it. And worse, you paid a premium for it, first of all, because it's a new build and construction costs are so expensive. So that means you paid above market value. Then, because there's so many new properties like yours being built, there's so much supply coming onto the market and very few owner-occupiers fighting to get in. It ends up becoming a holding pattern. You're stuck waiting for the market to catch up to meet the price you paid. Meanwhile, other areas are just surging ahead. I had a client who bought one of these packages for $900,000. 3 years later, they sold it for $850,000. Now that's not just a $50,000 loss. That's a $200,000 opportunity cost when you factor in the capital growth they missed elsewhere. They thought they were being smart. safe, conservative. But in reality, they were parked in a market that wasn't going anywhere. No growth, no borrowing capacity, no options except to sell for a loss. That's when they sought out our help. But for you, if you're looking at a house and land package right now, I'm not saying don't do it. I'm saying do it with your eyes wide open. Look at the bigger picture. Ask the tough questions, because shiny brochures, they don't build wealth. Buying the right properties in the right areas, that's what builds your wealth.
Definitely good advices from this gentleman, and always do your research. This is what I always tell on the show, especially with such a high margin properties, with such prices that we have right now for the houses. You're paying a lot for that, and you definitely need to ask a lot of questions about that. Okay, let's dive to the next video and watch, guys.
What just happened?
I have no idea what just happened. I've been in real estate 28 years, and I've never seen insanity like this in trying to lease or purchase a house, ever. This is absurd.
Yeah, that was interesting.
This ride is getting crazy.
We are rejected in our offer without any negotiation. We waited 5 days. This was the answer.
Oh, I'm so sorry, but there's a NATO family that the owner is leasing to instead of you guys.
That just saw the house this morning.
And the owner decided within 5 minutes to lease to them, but it took her 5 days to respond to us.
So we asked, what is the reason why she refused our offer and she accepted the other offer? Is that a price? We don't want to match their offer, but we would like to buy the house. So this got interesting.
So we talked to the realtor, and I said, why don't you call the owner, and find out what will it take to buy the house. And we're not going to lease the house from her. We don't want her as a landlady. Insanity is off the charts. Insane. And so we said, fine, we'll buy the house. It's a great home. It's a great opportunity for us to go in there, rehab it, remodel, prove the value of everything, and live there. And so we said, find out if she'll sell the house. That's all we asked. Find out if she'll sell the house. Then we get a message from the realtor with a transcript of the message she had just sent the other person, saying, please talk to your family about selling the house because I would request that my client buy it for this price. We never talked about a price.
No number.
Insane. So now this agent is out there negotiating a sales price on our behalf without even talking to us. I've never seen this ever, once in my life.
Yeah, very interesting, and especially what happened there. It's a really interesting story. That's why I decided, to add this story in our show, because this is very interesting. Let me know in the comments below. Have you had such things? Have you? Have it happened with you previously or not? Let me know in the comments below. I will be very happy to read them all. And let's dive to the next video and watch.
Remember 3 years ago when everybody was saying, date the rate, marry the house? Yeah, me too. I was always hesitant to say that, even though even I got suckered into thinking that, in a year or two, the rates are going to go down. Well, that was 3 years ago. Now that fewer people are believing the rates are going to go down, if anything, they might actually go up, there's been a shift in the market. We've seen over 30% increase in inventory alone nationwide. We have over 1 million listings on the market. We haven't seen that many since 2019. And now almost 20% of homes on the market are getting price reductions. Now, how does that happen? Nationwide, we're seeing about 500,000 more listings on the market than buyers. And the basic law of supply and demand means that you're going to see price reductions. How long is this going to happen? We don't know, but it's looking like it's going to continue. So if you're looking to sell, now is the time to know for certain what you're going to get for your home. Otherwise, if you're not certain about making that move, you have to be sure that you'd be okay to stay in your home through the whole cycle for maybe 5 to 7 years before the home prices are back to where they were before. We've seen this before in the last cycle. People are trying to chase the market down and they just lose out. Trying to time the market to when it's most optimal is like catching a falling knife. You won't be able to. So you either make a move or you have to think strategically for long term, that maybe you'll have to wait until you gain more equity.
You see, very interesting, very good advice from the gentleman, and he said that we have a cycle, so when the prices go up and when the prices go down, you know. Let me know in the comments below, what do you think about that? Do we really have such cycles or not? I will be interested to read about that. And let's dive to the next video and watch.
These home buyers are suing both the home seller and the home inspector after they found cracks in a foundation after closing on the home. They're claiming that the sellers purposely hid these cracks by putting recycling bins in front of them along the side of the house. And they're claiming that the inspector should have seen these. Couple things here. So the inspector should have seen them, could have moved those bins to see the cracks, but they could have also. When you're buying a home, it's up to you to do your due diligence. And if something as simple as moving recycling bins could have avoided this $40,000 to $50,000 repair that they've now had quoted, that should have been done. And also, like a home inspector, they're there to do a visual inspection. They can't see through walls. They can't see through things that are blocking things. Yes, he probably should have moved those bins. But you have to understand, when you're hiring a home inspector, they can only do what they can do. So do you think the lawsuit is valid, or is a buyer beware?
Yeah, do your own research, guys. Check everything when you buy a house. You know, if something is missing from your eyes, it can be a very costly repairs for sure. Okay, guys, let's dive to the next video and watch.
So I have a theory / prediction about the future of the housing market and millennials in general, and it goes something like this. This year, 2025, will be known as the year that will split the millennial generation into the haves and have-nots. The main thing I mean by this is that one of the main ways to build wealth in the United States is to own real estate, is to be a homeowner. And the reason why it's such a powerful wealth building tool is because you build wealth two ways by owning real estate. You amortize the debt that you use to purchase the house. And the second is you build equity through appreciation, meaning the house goes up in value over time. But this year is particularly interesting because of how bad the housing market is, how difficult it is for first-time homebuyers. And a lot of them are millennials. And the reason why it's so bad is because interest rates are so high. The borrowing costs to obtain a house are just simply too high for people to afford. So if interest rates come down, which they inevitably will, then prices will inevitably go up because interest rates and asset prices have an inverse relationship. But the problem is that if interest rates go down after 2025's housing market, prices will go up even further on top of already elevated prices. So you couple this low interest rate, high price situation with the fact that over the last 2 decades, wages haven't kept up with the movement of asset prices. So eventually, we may end up in a runaway scenario with housing to where people will become permanently priced out of the housing market and will be forced to become permanent renters. Now, don't get me wrong, I don't think there's anything wrong with renting. I think it's the right situation for a lot of people. But the problem with renting is that a payment that you're making anyway towards having a place to live, when compared to a mortgage, somebody who has a mortgage, they own and build the wealth in the asset that they have. Renters, it's just straight up sunken cost. So essentially, I think in the next 10 to 15 years, we'll see a portion of the millennial generation who become homeowners and a portion of the millennials who will become permanent renters. I mean, am I crazy? Let me know what you think.
Pretty good thoughts about that, you know, definitely. And we also have a coloration here, so if the interest rates will gonna go down, definitely the price is probably gonna go up. Let me know what do you think about that in the comments below. And do you really think that a lot of millennials gonna be a permanent rentals without owning the houses? That will be very interesting for me to read all your comments. I try to do this all the time. Okay, guys, let's dive to the next video and watch.
Jumping on to talk about buyer's remorse. Yes, when owners regret that they bought that property because they didn't do their due diligence. Here's a couple of scenarios. A condo owner, she bought it because it was supposed to be an investment. And she said, I'm just going to do some short-term rentals. But she never looked at the condo docs to see if it was possible. When she bought the property, she found out short-term rentals are prohibited at that association. She's regretting that she bought that property. The other example, a homeowner bought the home in a homeowners association, and guess what? She had this favorite color that she wanted to paint her home, but she didn't bother to confirm with the association if the color was a part of the approved color palette. Now she regrets buying that property because she wants to see her color that she likes on her home. The other example is a single family homeowner. Now, she regrets buying the property because her neighbors. And you know what? I blame her because, why? She never did her due diligence. She didn't go to the property 3 or 4 times, even 5, at different times of the day, or to talk to the neighbors that she was going to have, because after she bought the home, she figured out that her neighbors were disrespectful, rude, noisy, and no matter how many times she spoke to them about their music that was playing, they didn't do anything about it. Now, I would say that's buyer's remorse, because she never went to see how that property was in the morning, afternoon, in the evening, any random time during the rain. You need to do that before you get into the position of being in home buyer's remorse.
Yeah, interesting thought about, buying a property. Do you agree with this, guys? Let me know in the comments below, guys. And let's dive to the next video and watch.
These are the 3 things that gave me buyer's remorse buying my first property and how I overcame them. The first one, interest rates. I thought they were going to go down as soon as I closed on my house. They did not. They went up. And they're still up since I bought my house. Number 2, I had no budget for furniture once I moved in. I was house poor. I think everybody feels this way after they buy their first property, no matter how much they budgeted for furniture or didn't budget for furniture. For me, this just went away with time. I focused on one room at a time to put furnishings in, starting with my bedroom. The third one, thinking I moved to the wrong city. As soon as I moved into my house, some of my friends started moving to other cities, and I was like, I made the wrong choice. Again, this goes away with time. You build your own community, and you continue to connect with your friends.
Yeah, a lot of things here, buyer's rumors, what we can say. Okay, guys, let's dive to the next video and watch.
We have some major real estate news right now. Warren Buffett just dropped $800 million on home builder Lennar and expanded his stake on D.R. Horton. When Buffett moves that kind of money into housing, you pay attention. Buffett's betting big on new construction demand, which means builders are about to flood the market with more homes, not just in the areas you've seen, but in areas that are still growing. Buffett doesn't just drop $800 million on gut feelings. He sees sustained housing demand, and he's betting builders will capture a lot of it. More new homes hitting the market means more choices for buyers and tougher competition for sellers. The housing market just got way more interesting. What do you think? Is Buffett onto something, or is this just a short-term play?
Yeah, very interesting thoughts, guys. Let me know in the comments below what do you think about that. What is happening and why Warren Buffett doing this. Okay, guys, let's dive into the next video and watch.
I was buying a home in 2025, I would not be moving out here like I'm blind. I would not be walking in and saying, oh, this kitchen is so cute. Oh, this looks really nice. Fuck that. I'm buying strategy. I'm buying return on investment. I'm not buying cute. I'm buying freedom and I'm buying leverage. Because buying a home is just not about where you sleep. It's about how you move. It's about what doors is open for you in the future. So let me break this down in full. First thing I look at is my budget, but not just based on what I want to pay. It needs to be something I can actually afford, especially with the current interest rates. Because I don't care how much I love a house, if that monthly payment got me nervous every first of the month, and I didn't just buy a home, I bought stress. So I'd run the numbers like this. What's the current interest rate? 7%? Okay, cool. How much is the home? $400K? Okay, cool. What does that break down monthly with insurance, taxes, and HOA fees, if any? Does that fit into my lifestyle with ease, or do I have to pick between living and surviving? Because home ownership is not supposed to feel like a prison. It's supposed to feel like peace. Next, let's talk about future value. I'm going to be looking at the area, not just how it looks today, but what's coming to it. What's going to be built in the next 2 years that'll help my property value go up. Are developers breaking ground nearby? Is a Starbucks being built around the corner? Are the schools improving? Is the crime rate dropping? These are indicators. They're not decorations. Because you could buy a house in a quiet little spot, but if you play it right, 2 years, that same quiet zip code can turn into a cash cow. But if you ain't got nobody teaching you how to spot that, you'll just miss it. Over and over and over again. I'd also make sure the home has options. I'm talking 3 beds minimum, resale and rental flexibility, 2 baths minimum for convenience and future value. Flex room or bonus space, jackpot. That's an office, a guest room, short-term rental, gym, creative space, even passive income if you smart. Now let's be real for a second. Everybody wants turnkey and move-in ready homes. But the real play is the homes that have a vision. I'm not talking about a gut job, but maybe some paint, updated flooring. No, just a few cosmetic updates. Because if you can buy low, fix light, and watch that value rise, you just made 40 to 100K in equity without lifting a hammer. Here's where people fumble. They wait too long. You keep waiting on a magical interest rate drop. Meanwhile, prices are still climbing. You think saving, but really you're just sitting. And in real estate, I'm not gonna lie, sitting is expensive.
Hey guys, let me know in the comments below what do you think about that. Pretty interesting advices. Okay guys, now let's dive into the next video and watch.
You've probably heard the story, seniors downsize, young families move in. The cycle continues, everyone wins, except no. That's not what's actually happening. Not in Greater Vancouver, not anywhere. Turns out most seniors do not want to downsize. Not because they're greedy, not because they're hoarding square footage, because downsizing in reality kind of sucks. The emotional toll, the purging of decades of stuff, the cost of moving. And what are they moving into exactly? A 1-bedroom box with strata meetings and no storage. Hard pass. According to census data, seniors are the least likely demographic to move. Even when they're living alone in a 4-bedroom home, even when the stairs are a health hazard, even when they say, maybe someday. In fact, most only move when they're forced to, by money, mobility, or an emergency, not because they want to unlock equity and start a new lifestyle in a junior 1-bedroom facing a dumpster. So no, those listings aren't coming. Not en masse. Not soon. If you're a first-time buyer waiting for the boomer wave to magically free up supply, you might be waiting a long time. There are good homes out there, just fewer of them, and more competition for every single one.
Okay, what do you think about this, guys? Let me know in the comments below. I'll be very happy to read them. Okay, guys, let's dive into the next video and watch.
So you're a buyer entering the housing market and you're so excited because you finally have your down payment and you think you're ready to go and you're ready to start looking at Redfin and Zillow and all of the things. But housing just seems to be too unaffordable still. Let's talk about what I'm seeing here happen in Santa Cruz County in the housing market, because it's not just localized to here in this county. Yes, we have housing prices that are much higher than the rest of the country because we live on the coast and we have the redwoods and we're in California. But what I'm about to tell you is happening nationwide. Interest rates are still almost 7% and housing prices are not decreasing. So the affordability factor is still a problem. Yes, we have more listings than ever on the market than we've had since 2019, but that still doesn't make them affordable because sellers still think it's 2021. Fun fact, it's not. I'm seeing houses sit for longer, 30, 60, 90 days. I'm seeing buyers have more to choose from, so they get to be really picky. And if a buyer even has a hint that a house is overpriced, they're not even looking at it. So if you're a buyer entering into the buyer's market right now, you've got a little bit of an upper hand. You have more room for negotiations and you have more room to be able to get the house for less than asking price. I also read from my lender partner this morning that mortgage applications have decreased by 6% since May. So what does that mean? It means that we're sort of at this weird standstill. Buyers aren't buying, sellers aren't willing to budge on their price, and interest rates are still high.
Yeah, this is what is going on in California, guys. Trying to put different stories from different parts of the country, so this is what is going on there, the problem with the houses, the interest rates, The problem with the buyers that buying the houses, the buyers become more picky, you know. This is happening all over the country, you know, guys. And I'm trying to put in the show, and the stories, I try to put the stories from different parts of the countries just for you guys. Hope you appreciate this. Okay, guys, let's dive to the next video and watch.
If you think that regular people buy houses when mortgage rates are near 7%, you're out of your mind. But there are two groups of people who are on the move. Those groups are my super wealthy guys and my investors. Now, here are the three top loan types that these people are using, at least what I'm seeing, especially in Florida. Number one is going to be fix and flip loans. Number two is going to be DSCR loans. And number three is going to be hard money loans.
Yeah, you see, some people's on the hunt for houses, even in such market. I thought it's pretty interesting, you know. I decided to add in our show. I love the dogs of the gentleman that is behind him. A pretty nice one. Okay, guys, let's dive to the next video and watch.
Yeah, I might be renting for the rest of my life. I ain't lying. I ain't got the 20%. I don't know how y'all got the 20%. I ain't got the 20%. Then on top of that, $300K ain't even getting you a nice crib. I'm not asking to stay in Beverly Hills. I just want to stay in a nice place, like the suburbs, a safe place. $300K is not getting you that. $300K is getting you either a shack in the hood or a 2-hour commute to work from the boonies. The boonies or the hood, pick your poison. Then let's just say I had the 20%. I got the crib I wanted. I'm in the suburbs. Who has the closing cost? Who has housing maintenance if something goes wrong? We're talking about dropping unlimited money already on a crib. Now I'm in here and you telling me I can't just call maintenance and they come fix it for free? I got to pay for my washing machine when it break. If plumbing screw up, I got to pay for that. All these housing expenses, bro, on top of my bills already. How? Where is this big boy money coming from? I'm not understanding. I ain't even think about the part of, you know how much it costs, how much you have to put down just for your mortgage to be under 2 bands? Where's this money coming from? But when I see people with cribs like around my age, first home, second home, you got it, big dog. You got it. We live in 2 different worlds, bro. You got it. Property taxes?
Yeah, very interesting, you know, definitely. I hope the gentleman gonna be alright, and you know he start buying a lot of houses, and everything's gonna be okay for him. Okay, guys, done for today. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and see you in the next one. And like always, guys, bye for now.